In this video, we are going to freeze a skull in a magical freezer. Let's go ahead and see how is it possible in Adobe Photoshop. Hello and welcome to Ctrl+g. Here is where we help you bring your design ideas to life. If you like this kind of videos, this YouTube channel is where you can find them every week. So feel free to subscribe to Ctrl+g YouTube channel and learn to graphic design here with us. Okay, enough of speaking, let's jump in. Here we are in Photoshop. Let's start with opening our footage. You can do it from here or simply using Ctrl+O shortcut. Now browse your computer and select the files that you want to use in the project. Hit OK and you have your files opened in Photoshop. In this tutorial, we are using these two images. You can use your own images and make your own unique projects, or you also can download our exact footage linked in the description down below and exercise the exact same experience as we do. One of the images is an image of a skull, which I have downloaded from Unsplash website, and the other one is a photo of some white particles on a black background. Okay, we're going to start the project from the skull. First of all, let's say we need to be able to see our image clearly to be able to edit it. So that, let's duplicate the background layer using Ctrl+J and go to Camera Raw Filter in the Filter tab and fix the colors and light a little bit. If you have already worked with Camera Raw Filter, it's great so that you know how it works. But for the ones who don't know it, I promise we will soon have a detailed tutorial teaching color correction and it would be super helpful. But for now, just look at your image and try to fix it playing with Camera Raw Filter options such as exposure, contrast and others in basic section and doing a few changes in the curves section. Okay, let's see the before and after. Before, after, before, after. Great! Now let's add some details to our image. In order to do that, let's duplicate the layer again. Ctrl+J. Now from image, adjustment, black and white, we make it black and white. And then from filter, other, choose high pass filter. As you can see, these are the details that we are going to add. Type a radius number here. 2.5 is a usual standard number, so I'm not going to change it. Okay. Now with the layer selected, change its blending mode to overlay and it's done. The details are added. Shift select both layers and right click on them and merge them together. Now we need to select the skull. There are many different ways to select an object, but I prefer to select it quickly with the quick selection tool. Simply select all the areas that you want and alt select the areas that aren't a part of the skull. Also, if you are not happy enough with your selection, you can manually fix it using the lasso tool. Again, with the lasso tool, you can manually select the parts that you want and alt select the areas that you wanna erase from the selection. Hitting Ctrl+J makes a copied layer with only the selected parts visible in it. And that's it. We have the object separated from the background. Duplicate the layer one more time, Ctrl+J and unvisible the top layer, clicking on this eye icon. Select this layer and make it black and white, hitting Shift, Ctrl+U shortcut, or from image, adjustment, desaturate. Then with the same layer selected, go to filter, filter gallery. Here under artistic, choose plastic warp and set the highlight strength, detail and smoothness for your image. It might be a little bit different if you are using another picture. hitting OK, and you notice that a filter has been applied to the layer. Now we need to invert this layer. Inverting simply means to apply opposite colors to a layer. For example, blacks will be white and whites will be black. So invert the layer using Ctrl+I shortcut. Now simply with changing the blending mode to screen, the plastic warp filter will be applied to the actual skull layer in the way we want. Great! Now with the layer selected, click on this icon and select Hue Saturation. This will make a hue saturation adjustment layer on the top of it, which will affect all the layers underneath, which is not what we want. We need it to just affect layer 2. In order to do that, you can turn this option on or alt clicking between these two layers. With hue, we can make our black and white skull to appear colorful. So click on colorize and the color will be applied to it. In this case, we need the skull to be blue. And let's higher the saturation a little bit and it looks okay. Shift selecting both these layers, drag and drop them onto this icon down here and they will be in a folder called group 1. Open the group and drag the adjustment layer out of the group. Oh, it's just lost its clipping mask. So let's click on this icon once again. Now duplicate the layer which is now in the group again with Ctrl+J. And with this new copy selected, go to filter gallery once again. This time we're going to go to distort folder and select the glass filter. Again, play with the sliders a little bit. Mine is already set because before recording this tutorial, I was practicing it so that it remembered my settings. Make sure that the texture is frosted and hit OK. The skull looks more icy now. Close the group and add a mask layer, clicking on Add Vector Mask. This mask layer is for us to erase the icy filter from the skull and create an illusion of depth here in some areas of the skull. So with the mask layer selected, have the brush tool with a black color and a 0% hardness and opacity of about 20%. Now you can manually erase the filter from it, but I recommend using the lasso tool to kinda drawing some areas around some parts of the skull which we wanna draw kind of a shading in them. And you can also erase the mistaken parts with white color. The selection can also be done with quick selection tool or whatever tool that you prefer to select with. I'm just okay with lasso tool. Oh, there was a problem in the first selection here, but no worries, we can fix it with lasso tool using 100% opacity. Okay, we made the dark areas darker. Now let's make the highlights brighter. In order to do that, make a new layer on the group layer. Make sure that it is clipping. Remember, you can make a layer clipping mask holding Alt and click between them. Now with white color and again with opacity of 20% and hardness of 0%, we can draw the highlights this time. Great, now let's start making this freezed skull a magical one. So it needs to shine. In order to make it shine, double click on the group and a panel will show up. Here we need to turn the outer glow on and change some settings here. You can pause the video and copy my settings, or you can also go ahead and make your own settings and then do pretty much the same thing that we did with the inner glow. As you can see, now our skull is shining. Cool. Now let's go ahead and add the particles. Before adding the particles, let's add some details to it. Remember, Ctrl+J duplicating, image, adjustments, make it black and white, and from filter, other, high pass, 2.5 pixels, OK, and blending mode to overlay. Cool. You can see how it have been changed. Now right clicking on it, merge it down. Now holding Alt key, drag the layer and drop it in the other document. We need the layer here. Oh, it has been clipping masked automatically and it's not what we want. So holding Alt, click between the layers to turn off the clipping mask. This layer needs to be placed in a right position. So to change its transform, simply hit Ctrl+T and now you can easily move, scale or rotate it. Lower the opacity from here and place the image in a right position. Now return the opacity back to 100% and change its blending mode to screen, and you can see it kinda removes the dark background and applies the particles on the skull. To add more particles, duplicate the layer and place it somewhere else. I think it's enough. Now let's erase the extra parts of the particles to make a better shape. Keep only one layer visible and add a layer mask to it. Now pick a black brush with opacity of 100% and hardness of 0% and start erasing some parts of it. Do it for each of the layers individually. Okay, great. Now shift select all particle layers and drag them to a group. You can also add a layer mask to this group and do a little bit more of erasing with a lower opacity. Great. From now on that we have the skull and particles ready, we're going to adjust the colors and light to get our final artwork ready to share. So that let's flatten all layers and have them all in one layer. There are more than one ways to do it, but I prefer to use a golden shortcut, which is Shift Ctrl Alt E. It makes this layer, which is all the visible layers in one separated layer. Cool. Duplicate this new layer and add a camera raw filter to it. Starting from basic settings, change the sliders according to your own work, and you can also see my changes. After basic changes, jump to effects section and add some lighting effects. Okay, you can test other options for your own project, but I think in this case, color grading section can help us so much. Also, you can add some details and it's okay. You can see how much better it looks now. It looks like a blue light is coming from the skull and it has lightened the whole place with its blue light. But if this is the case, I think the areas near the skull should be bluer. So let's duplicate this layer and add a camera raw filter to it. For this one, make the temperature and tint much lower and hit OK. Now hold Alt and by clicking on this add layer mask icon, you'll add a black layer mask to it. Now you can add this blue effect little by little using a white brush with an opacity of 30% and 100% of flow. Okay, great. Now let's flatten it all once again. Remember what shortcut it is? Yes, definitely. Shift, Ctrl, Alt, E. You can adjust the light and colors with another option down here called selective color. Using this option, you can set CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black channel for different colors in the image. Now that we are done with selective color, let's go to camera raw filter for one last time, and this time just feel free to change everything that you think it makes your work better. That's it! Shift select all layers and put them in a folder, and now you can see the before and after. Oh, wow, I love it. Photoshop is amazing. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like it if it was helpful. This was Ctrl+g's first episode, so we will be so happy to see your feedbacks in the comments section, helping us improve our videos. Take care and see you in the next one.